RimWorld is a heartless and dangerous planet to live on. This fact weighs heavy on the hearts of the planet's youth, who don't have much to look forward to as they grow up, unless their dream is to become bug food or an unwilling organ donor. But today, the planet's most infamous mad scientist has decided to cheer up the children by giving them the best Christmas gift one can receive. No, not an Alabama Hot Pocket. That was a good guess though. The gift is hard drugs. Dr. Katza Krankenwagen was conducting an experiment near the North Pole, testing out something to do with a quadruple amputee, a bow, and a polar bear. But this whole experiment isn't working out like my attempts to complete No Nut November. So instead, we're going to do away with our old science-y base and shift gears into a new direction, redesigning our home to have a bit more of that Christmas spirit. With the base finished, Katza Krankenwagen and his trusty elves, Jingle, Jolly, Jelly, and Jared, can begin phase 2 of their plan to spread Christmas cheer to the children of the world, who are bogged down by the fact that the only viable career path for them is a child soldier. But hey, they do get dental insurance. However, before they move forward, Krankenwagen has to dispose of his old test subject. And the polar bear's execution, well, that's gonna be a job for the elves. Out with the old and in with the new, as our holiday team makes progress towards their ultimate goal by constructing a drug lab. Unfortunately, we still need to grow the psychoid leaves used to actually produce the drugs, and this icy hellscape isn't exactly a beacon of plant fertility. So instead, we will just repurpose our second set of hydroponics basins to grow those building blocks of addiction. And when those seeds of drug abuse have fully grown and are harvested, Krankenwagen gets to work producing the drug flake. Why flake? Well, I'm from this part of the country, so my people's drug of choice is meth, and the closest thing in the game to that is flake. Now that everyone is holly and jolly, and we have produced the drugs, like an inattentive parrot, the only thing we are missing is the kids. Oh, looks like it's my lucky day. We send Jared out to give the youngin' a good smack or two. You know I only hit you because I love you. With love, we drag the kid's bleeding body back to base and set him up in the polar bear room, which I now realize isn't so kid-friendly. So we redesigned the room and gave the child a suit to make him look like a distinguished gentleman to better prepare the child's mind and body for the sweet meth substitute they will soon consume. But I wonder if I can even give it to him. I mean, most games won't even let you harm kids, let alone give them illegal narcotics. But who am I kidding? This is RimWorld. To the game, treating people nicely is frowned upon. So Krankenwagen lets the kid take a hit from a crack pipe, surrendering their body to an immediate overdose. There's no need to worry though, as the kid only minorly OD'd, and just as I suspected, he really likes the meth. To celebrate the success of gifting this child a wonderful Christmas present, Krankenwagen and his elves gather to listen to some jazz music I found on the website I normally get music and sound effects from. It's weird because I typed in holiday and got jazz. I don't understand. While listening to the elite bass of the jazz tune, Krankenwagen thought about how they need to expand their operation, as one kid's meth-induced happiness is not enough to satisfy his altruistic needs. So like Angelina Jolie, we need more kids. Our plan is to steal the children from a neighboring village, but they aren't gonna give them up without a fight. So the elves prepare for war, crafting new armor while Kronky gets to work researching toxic gas. Just in case we have to break a few minor Geneva conventions in order to steal the kids. And with my 3 best combat elves armed up, they gather together to get a reminder of what they are fighting for. Amped up on the holiday spirit, the troops load into their transport pods and are launched towards the nearest town. We make sure to visit the town first before the attack, just to scout it out. But unfortunately, there are no potential gift receivers in sight. This is probably good luck in disguise, as they do seem to be better armed than us. How about we tactically get the fuck out of here? But not before loading a copious amount of meth into a pod and launching it into the center of the town, dispersing meth like the CIA did with crack to poor communities. The journey home seems like it's going to be longer than we previously expected, and I hate to tell you guys, but winter has begun, plummeting the outdoor temps and threatening the elves with hypothermia. Fortunately, I packed warm clothes for the elves, so after a quick wardrobe change, they should be good to go. You know, I probably could have packed the parts needed for the elves to build new transport pods so they don't have to walk the whole way home. When the elves arrive back at base, spirits aren't that high. We failed to capture more kids to indoctrinate with our Christmas cheer. Yet in this dark moment, Krankenwagen had an idea. If we can't steal kids from our neighbors, why don't we just make them? He rushes to his research table, feverishly studying growth vats. And upon its completion, he assembles the new tech in the kiddie room. Cronky's plan is now like a marriage. It's going to be saved by pregnancy. However, the next step of his plan requires a raid to show up. So we spend the next few days waiting, going through the motions of our daily tasks and mostly cooking a lot of meth. But a slight miracle happened. The inhabitant of this pod is an imp, and just verifying, yeah, it's a woman. Perfect. As a welcome gift to our new friend, we schedule her an appointment to administer Flake. That way she feels happy before the horrors to come. We do have a bit of a whoopsie though. I forgot to research fertility procedures. Once that has been studied, it unlocks the procedure to extract a prisoner's ovum, to be fertilized later by Krankenwagen or one of our elves. Considering the prisoner is an imp and our colonists are normal humans, I am unsure if it will even be possible to fertilize the ovum. Despite what my fantasies tell me post-playing Baldur's Gate 3. Nevertheless, Krankenwagen gathers the elves in what is the second weirdest bukkake I have ever been to, Sling and Mayo as a group to fertilize the ovum. When the sausage fest concludes, we insert the embryo into the growth vat, which will pop out a fully grown baby in 9 days. Unfortunately, we will have to wait to populate the other growth vats until our prisoner recovers from the operation. That is, unless we get some more prisoners. The raiders attack, but turn their brains off like my Marvel Rivals teammates as they file into the trap maze, downing themselves one by one. And fortunately, we have 2 potential prisoners, 1 male and 1 female. We take the woman into custody and beat the Christmas spirit out of the man. Then the Christmas goons repeat the process as done before. Give meth, take the ovum, demonetize my video, and place the abomination into the science machine, where it will grow into a Christmas-loving junkie. The third growth vat still needs to be filled, yet the prisoners aren't ready to pop out another kid. But as insurance for my future experiments, I think I found a way to incorporate Dr. Krankenwagen's amputee research at the beginning of the video. You see, there are prison breaks in this game, but prisoners can't escape if they don't have legs. Crafting a prosthetic leg and arm, we unlock the medical procedure to involuntarily install prosthetics on our guests. Once the operation is complete, we immediately remove the prosthetic, leaving behind, well, nothing in its place. We repeat this process. The only slight hiccup that occurred was some minor medical malpractice during a few of the operations. But when it is all said and done, the prisoners are missing 4 limbs, reducing their moving and manipulation abilities to 0, making escape impossible. In the time it took us to create torso people, the prisoners are almost ready for their next ovum extraction. But I don't really want to make any more lab-grown kids. And I really don't want to see this again. So for you two, I guess we'll flip a coin. Heads, I set you free, and tails, I extract your organs and sell them on the black market. Okay, best 2 out of 3. Fuck! Well, a deal is a deal. Oh wait, you actually can't go anywhere on account of that whole not having any limbs thing. Well, my hands are tied. Guess we're gonna have to extract your organs. That side quest wraps up right as our first child is, born? Please welcome to the world the beautifully named baby Krankenwagen. But we immediately put her back into the growth vat as she is still way too young to be given her Christmas meth, even though the game will allow us to give a baby some flake. A day or so later, our second lab-grown child pops out, who I aptly name Baby Franz Ferdinand. We immediately place the Archduke back into his growth vat so both he and his sister can slow roast all day like the ovens of Auschwitz. When they transform from infant to child, baby Krankenwagen has a beard better than I have in real life. What the f***?
She can't do that. Shoot her or something.
But I have seen enough. The beard has told me she is old enough to handle some hard drugs. Once Franz finishes his development, we adorn the children in their dapper suits and get them tweaking on crank. With that, Krankenwagen has done it. He spread the Christmas spirit with drugs, but his mission wasn't to help some of the kids on the planet. It was to help all the kids on the planet. There are so many settlements, each with children who need our meth, and their little souls call to Krankenwagen like the Green Goblin mask. But we need a better way to transport meth across the world, as the transport pods can only go so far. I was going to build a sleigh from one of the Christmas mods I'm using, but for once in my life, I read something, and I might be stupid, but this is pretty clear. Also, I don't know how to get any of this shit. So instead, Krankenwagen gets to work, researching something that will help us spread the Christmas spirit. We aren't going to use the superpod. Thing's a hunk of junk. Instead, we're going to go deeper to get the SRAF. It is pretty hefty in research points, so while we're waiting, we just have to contend with the raiders who are trying to free the children. Actually, they're more likely trying to steal our meth. In addition to the raids, there are incidents of elf incompetence that unfortunately resulted in Jared's early demise. But nevertheless, Krankenwagen finishes his research, allowing us to build the tech behemoth, but we lack the silver. So Krankenwagen and Jelly load into the transport pods and travel towards the nearest trade outpost, where Cronky exchanges the organs we harvested earlier for silver. Unlike our last transport pod trip, this time I packed enough materials to build us some new vessels. We return with 2,000 extra silver, and we use the new cash to start our build project that will allow us to spread the Christmas spirit better than Mariah Carey. We crank out as much crank as we can and load the meth onto the ship. Krankenwagen takes off, speeding to deliver speed from town to town, giving the gift of amphetamines to all the children of RimWorld, and maybe ruining some lives with their newfound addictions. But if you overlook that, I think we did a little good in this messed up world of ours and gave the kids a holly jolly Christmas. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video or are a really cool person, you should check out my last video where I got evicted in RimWorld and had to rough it as a homeless person, fighting both the elements and the landlords.